Well met, well met. So you've another of these mysterious shards, have you? Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. I must confess, normally I'm rather, reclusive. Not that I dislike people, mind you. Quite the contrary. But lately, with all the troubles, a murderer on the loose and young nobles sneaking around up to who knows what, I've had to place wards around my home. Ah, yes. Lately I've seen figures sneaking around in the dark, and not that well-meaning sort of sneaking either. It's obvious what they want. Why, my house, of course. As if I would ever sell it. Ridiculous. I'd sooner give up my left eye. But my right annoys me at times, so that would be an easier sell. In any event, back when I first settled in Neverwinter, my humble abode was on the outskirts of Black Lake, bordering acres of untouched wilderness. Now, with Neverwinter being rebuilt, following all that plague nonsense, my property went from the periphery to being right on the main thoroughfare of the rich part of Neverwinter. All the nobility wants to live in Black Lake, but there's no more room, so lately they've been trying various ways to convince me to sell my land. First, they tried offering me ridiculous sums of gold. What do I need with more gold?
I wish more people would give that question a little thought.
Next, they tried making loud noises late at night, but I need little sleep, so the only thing they accomplished was scaring away the night birds that raid my garden, for which I thank them. Lately, they must be getting desperate, because most nights I can look out and see them watching me. Of course. Who else would sneak around my home? Well, present company excluded. Oh, that's right. You came here for a reason, yes? Great dear, what a tale! The moment you arrived, I knew I'd be interested in meeting you. Wish I'd known that when I first greeted you. Would have saved some time. You've certainly come to the right place. A while ago, I found another shard with properties similar to the ones you possess. I've done every possible test on the shard, but learned little. However, I've never had another shard to compare it against. If you'd like some answers, I'll gladly run some tests on your shards. I have just enough quicksilver to do it. Ah, thank you. I'll be right back with this. My tests are complete. With another shard to use as a comparison, well, I learned quite a bit. Quite a lot, actually. It appears these shards contain latent magical energy, either caused by a strong enchantment from when they were whole or from their method of destruction. Furthermore, the shards resonate when they are brought together, increasing their magical energy output accordingly. These shards are pieces of a broken Githyanki silver sword. Are you familiar with the Githyanki? The Githyanki are a race of beings that dwell on the astral plane, led by Vlakith, the Lich Queen. Not a nice woman, I hear. Ages ago, the ancestors of the Githyanki were human and inhabited another plane of existence, where they were enslaved by the Illithids, or Mind Flayers. Then came Gith. Little is known about her outside the Githyanki, but she led the rebellion to free her people of the Illithids, and is considered the hero and founder of the Githyanki people. The Githyanki silver swords are forged with the special purpose of severing the silver cord that connects the form of an astrally projecting traveler to his or her material counterpart. They look like a regular Githyanki weapon until used in combat, at which point they turn into a column of flowing, shimmering liquid. Really quite amazing, I'm told. I believe the shards that you have found are pieces of one of these silver swords. I presume the Githyanki have come to Faerun to recover the shards. Common Githyanki would not possess a silver sword. These swords are rare and highly prized. They are given by the Lich Queen to only the greatest of Githyanki knights. When one of their silver swords falls into the hands of a non-Githyanki, they will go to extraordinary lengths to recover it. Obviously, you'd first need more of the shards, wouldn't you? Between us, we have perhaps enough metal for a hairpin. And once enough had been gathered, well, I really don't know what the next step would be. A large hammer and hot coals, perhaps? I'm really not much of a blacksmith. I've never heard of one being broken before. It could be that the Githyanki are as interested in how it was broken as they are in reclaiming the pieces. I wish I knew more. Amon-Jero was the real expert. He actually possessed a silver sword. Amon-Jero? Oh, he was a court wizard of Neverwinter decades ago. I met him a few times. He was a nice fellow, a little absent-minded with a tendency to drift off the subject. Amon-Jero reminded me of my old mentor, Master Growler. Had the largest collection of noisy, exotic birds. Made quite a racket, you know, chirping and squawking. What? Oh, in any case, Amon-Jero has been in a grave for many, many years. He passed away quietly, presumably of old age. When word of Amon's death reached me, it was from a messenger who had heard it in passing. The nobles who ruled Neverwinter at the time must have assumed I would simply know if another scholar passed away, for they had not mentioned it to me. It was almost an afterthought. I learned later that it was partly due to what Amon's family wanted, and what had been requested by the deceased, to enter life quietly and to leave it the same way. It is sad in this age when the passing of a humble scholar and indistinct court wizard barely warrants a footnote in history. It makes me wonder, will anyone remember me when I'm gone? That's kind of you to say, but unlike Amon-Jero, I will not be survived by any family. I suppose they would, but the Jero family was said to have moved far away from Neverwinter after the war, and Amon-Jero's passing. I have no idea where they might be now. Well, there is Jero's Haven. I suppose you could try looking there. I suspect that the Neverwinter archives here in Blacklake would have its location. They typically keep noble family records in the secured archives. They don't allow just anyone to access them, though. I petitioned to be allowed to peruse the secured archives, but I was denied because, well, some silly misunderstanding regarding misplaced books that somehow ended up in my possession. Normally, you would have to petition for access, which could take several weeks. However, ask the guards at the archives to speak directly with Archives Administrator Kotnik. He has been known to let me in, quietly on occasion. Very well. Thank you for your visit, and for letting me chat with you. Quite enlightening, really. Oh, and before I forget, you may take my shard. I've no use for it any longer, and who knows, you may gather more. Do be careful, though. I plan to raise my wards again after you have left to keep out those young nobles skulking about. Hope we haven't talked too long. Otherwise, they may have gathered their courage and attempted to sneak in.